Hi there and welcome back to Japan, where I'm going to be giving you a reaction and review to AIMI with Katakoi. Now, anyway, as always, if you want to see the song with me, if you want to see the reaction, I've just recorded that, so pause this video, click the link in the description below, which will open a separate little YouTube player where you can watch the reaction with me. Otherwise, I'm about to give you the review. So have you watched the song? Have you already heard the song? Are you ready for a review? Because here comes a review. Spoilers not intended, but you have been warned. Okay. I stand by my initial comment, and I really do mean this, that although it might be in the details, this really reminded me in a lot of important ways, a lot of the ways that I liked this, it reminded me of weird reference, Ready to Go by Republica, specifically Ready to Go, but actually kind of most of Republica's sound, in and this is beyond the songwriting, this is to do with the production. The production was a lot of what made this song work, was that there was a focus on certain things. I mean, first of all, you had that really boom, boom, four on the floor, kick, drum, playing like a dance beat all the way through. The production gave the percussion, so you like the high end of the beat, you know, the little cymbals and things. There was a lot of little electronic sounds in there that were adding really interesting, sharp percussion elements. Again, this was something that Republica did quite often. The guitar riff was simple but very, very punchy and very pointed. Again, Ready to Go, Republica. The build-up, especially, I wish they'd done that again in the bridge. To be honest, that build-up to the very first riff, again, very Republica. There was a lot of things about this that really reminded me of that, and kind of the 90s vibe as well. It was interesting hearing that combined with the song that during its body and for its writing and for its melodic qualities was very Japanese, and, you know, reminded me of the Stereopony reference. So, you know, this was a really interesting combination of two things. It did feel like Republica meets Stereopony in a very weird way. And you know what? What's really interesting is if someone had suggested that to me before, I would have ummed and ahed about it. But now hearing effectively what that would have sounded like, I like it. I think it works really well. And one of the qualities that really brings that across is that when it comes into the verse, it's having, as shouty and catchy and fun as Republica's vocals were, hearing sort of a nicely sung verse really adds something to it. It really adds an extra layer of melody to all the impact and beat that the song otherwise has. I did think the riff, like I say, very simple, but just really worked, and just everything felt like it was barreling along with a load of energy from the beginning, which is why that snare drum build-up was such a good idea. Maybe where it was a bit lacking was in the chorus. I think that's the payoff. If we were to compare this, I mean, I'm not going to compare it to Stereopony quite yet. I might come back to that reference in a minute. But if we were to compare it to what I think is probably more of an interesting comparison, something like Ready to Go by Republica, because like I said, the producer was definitely aiming in that direction. No doubt the producer, the person who picked the sounds, the way the sounds came across, the way that the sounds were crafted, rather than the actual writing of the notes. The producer was definitely aiming in that direction. So when I heard this, like, I thought the singing style, the more melodic singing style, added so much to the verse. But if anything, perhaps was slightly detracting in the chorus. In the chorus, you wanted something a little bit more energetic, punchy, sing along with me, powerful kind of thing. Whereas the chorus was good in this, but it felt like it could have been a good chorus in any song. It didn't quite have enough power to support the heavy impact, the heaviness of the song underneath. But that's a very minor criticism. Like I said, it's only a criticism that I'm really creating out of comparison to hearing maybe an alternative attitude to this style of production. So if we strip away that comparison, just look on it on its own right, yeah, it does work. Like I say, the chorus, perhaps due to the reasons that I just stated, is not massively catchy. It's not one that really stuck with me. But what stuck with me more than the chorus, which I must admit has already kind of flown out of my head, is just the pure energy of the song, the powerfulness, the bounce of the song, the production, the interesting sounds, the fact that the guitar was really impactful without actually being that heavy. The guitar was really noticeable without being that loud. The fact that the beat had so much subtlety to it whilst also being dancey. The fact that the bass line was used in such a nice pointed way. The bass was beautifully mixed. When it came in, it was so thick and heavy, and yet it wasn't thumped in your ear all the time. It just appeared on certain notes with little gaps between, so that you got impact. It was like that. And that's a brilliant way to use your bass. If you want anything to have impact, you don't overuse it. Use it just enough. Even if it's just something like, with a double kick drum. Like I said, a double kick drum is a very dangerous Pandora's box to play with, because if you overuse a double kick drum in something like heavy metal, then the fact there's no spaces between the kicks is actually what creates a lack of impact for the whole thing. So by using more, you get less. And the same thing applies for anything, especially at the low end. Kick drums, bass. When you use them with a lot, if you're using them sort of every single note, every single beat, you've got to have built up to that. You've got to have earned that by building up to it. So this song, to me, like I say, has the sparseness where it needs it, the impact where it needs it, the good production, the good sense to go with a nice mix of things and a nice balance of the dancey and the melodic. It just really, really works so well. I absolutely adore it. I thought it was brilliant. Maybe the biggest downside, we're always on the channel, always give the positive and the negative. I thought the bridge was a bit disappointing. It was going in an interesting direction. Like I say, I was hoping for something a little bit more dramatic, a little bit more to really play to the power of the song up to that point. They went for a fairly soft, melodic sung bridge that in many other cases would be actually my preference, but in this case I thought perhaps did not play to the strengths of the song, and it was very short, and it just kind of fed them straight back into the last chorus again. So yeah, the bridge was a bit underdeveloped, maybe a slight criticism there, ironically considering that the bridge they already had, although like I say, not to my personal expectation. That sounds so snobby and arrogant to say that. Although not the creative direction I would have personally gone, I think it's probably the better way to word it. It was a good bridge, and maybe just by playing that bridge out a little bit longer would have been a good idea, but still, nonetheless, it was well done. So yeah, I would say this is a song that I 100% definitely would come back to listen to again. Really enjoyed it, and certainly if you guys want me to check out more about AIMI, then please do let me know. I will make a quick comment on the video, because the video really had me torn. This was an interesting one that I wasn't 100% sure what I was going to say about, because it kind of left me with a little bit of a unsure state. The reason I say that is because in one way, from a creative standpoint, I liked the video. Yes, we've seen this a million times before, the whimsical video about, and it's not even the first one we've seen the paper aeroplanes. We saw the Alexandros song actually earlier this year that had exactly the same technique. Unfortunately, that was on my last channel and it got closed down. I'll have to dig through and maybe re-upload that if I can. We've seen the songs with that sort of thing, two girls who are friends, flying the paper aeroplanes, and then, love comes in and maturity comes in, and, trying to make it like a short romantic film or a short coming of age film within your music video. We've seen that all before. So in that sense, yeah, I do kind of get it. However, yeah, it was nicely delivered. I like the way they ended it as well. It was really nice, that little bit at the end where they just sort of, and just you take it up to the point where she throws the paper airplane and it stops. I thought that was a really nice way of, wrapping up the message and really giving a good feeling to what it was about. It had some good symbolism. It was great. It was a good short movie, but it didn't match the song. Now, again, I'm going to bring in that Republica reference again, and apologies to anyone who's getting sick of it, but I do think that there's some good things to take from it. I mean, Republica, when they did Ready to Go, which was, admittedly, that was a harder edge song than this in regards to sort of, punch in your face sort of sound. But like I said, there was a core underlying similar energy to the two songs. The video on that was so basically just about visceral impact of just zoom lenses and colors and all kinds of insanity that I think it was actually banned in a lot of places because of the fact that it was connected to the possibility of causing epilepsy, and I'm not surprised about that at all. Causing an epileptic reaction. Whereas this was all sort of slow motion romantic shots, and you're thinking, okay, out of those two, probably the best answer is probably somewhere in the middle. However, if I was to say which one do I think would better suit this song, I think this song would have probably benefited more from something which was a little bit more energetic. I felt that the song had so much energy and power and pace that the constant slow motion visuals didn't really work. I think that they kind of detracted from what the song was about, especially when you actually see AIMI and you see her performing, and she's performing with a sort of, kind of a bit chill, but she's performing with a lot of energy. You can see the sort of the power of the music blasting through as she's banging her head a little bit and really bopping along to it. So I couldn't help but feel that the video was great, but maybe for another song, Interesting to know what you guys think about that. But anyway, as always, interesting to know what you guys think about the whole thing, and my review included. Get in the comments. Music is all about opinions. Really, all that matters is subjective. I tried to give a slight objective opinion as someone who's worked with music as my entire adult life. However, the subjective, what you like, is what's most important, but it's really fun to discuss music. So get in the comments. You can like and subscribe if you wish to. Tell me what you think of this song and what you think of the video as well. It'd be really interesting. If you want to follow more of the conversation on Japanese music, then you can follow the link in the description description below to our Patreon. No, to our Patreon? I keep on saying the Patreon. To our Discord, where we're talking about Discord. We're not talking about Discord. We're talking about Japanese music. Oh my God, my brain's fried. Follow our Discord. It's a good place to talk. We've got our Reddit on there as well. Facebook, Twitter, there on the link description below, as well as the merch where you can buy some of our cool stuff if you've been around for a while and you are familiar with our constant sloganing. And yes, the Patreon as well, because a big thank you to our Patreon supporters for keeping the channel alive. Massive thank you to you for making it through to the end of the video. And until I hopefully see you in Japan soon for the next one, for now, ciao, ciao.